Hello, folks, and welcome back from that break. I am your friendly neighborhood shoutcaster, Shargan, and I have the one, the only Found joining me on the caster's desk today. Found, how you doing?
I spent the entire day being lost. I didn't know where to go. I was stuck in traffic. It was thing, but now I'm found. I'm glad to be here. Team Azores versus Fraud Squad. What a fantastic game for me to be starting with, and this is honestly with the way both these teams have been going, I expect this game to be relatively close, and I'm looking forward to that.
I do believe it is going to be a relatively close game. It's going to be really kind of interesting to see if TAS is going to end up with the same final score as Team Skill Based at the end of this. I have a feeling that it'll be a pretty interesting one. Just looking at these bans, we can already see they're getting rid of the Kai'Sa, getting rid of the Swain. So Fraud Squad is trying to get rid of Gua and Anbo's favored bot lane. Smart choice, and then getting rid of the Malzahar as well, very strong mid laner. And then I really like what TAS has done as well, getting rid of that LeBlanc, getting rid of that Ziggs. That's some really good mid lane picks that are just really devastating if you aren't able to deal with them. I kind of feel like the LeBlanc pick might be a little bit of a PTSD on the side of Hismi.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely not looking to see that one again. Insta-locking the Orianna really early. That's something we haven't really seen that much. Ori does have a lot of counter picks into the meta, especially with the versatility of Zed and Talon being able to go jungle and mid, and they're both being heavily aggressive assassins. So really aggressive on the side of Hismi, but I'm sure he just wants a safe matchup into Gouchmaster, which is something I can respect, especially since it looks like they're picking a lot of utilities to surround this Orianna.
Yeah, and this, for one thing, I just want to point out that this draft is moving exceptionally fast, relatively speaking, to what we've been seeing. So obviously these teams are pretty confident in their decision-making and what champs they want to take into this match. So with the, I like the picks on the side of Fraud Squad. The J4, Leona, and Nico are all really good in a synergy perspective because you have the lockdown, you have the Cataclysm, which is going to control the area, which allows Nico to just slam them with as much AP damage as they possibly can. Really good pickup on this Galio, though, for TAS, because that is going to negate a lot. That is going to allow them to engage onto the Nico safely because of that magic shield. I'm not entirely certain if we're going to be seeing a red or blue Kayn, but with the amount of tank that we already see on FS, most likely Rost showing up. And then we've got the bot lane picks coming up with a Tristana and a Jinx.
Yeah, most likely Ross returning as always, but I'm happy that Aurelius picked extremely aggressively. You guys all know I'm a notorious Nico hater. I think the champion is garbage, but I do think if anyone can pull it out, Gouchmaster can. It is a very heavily AP target. It still does a lot of burst damage, and it can do well setting up recess for Jinx. So their composition is at least very consistent. I like what Fraud Squad has selected. They have a lot of CC, a lot of lockdown and zone control. So very well done on that end. And there's a lot of reprisal from Team Azor if this Kayn manages to be a big carry like they're expecting.
Yeah, and the Senna Samira ban, I'm not entirely sure if that was a good set of bans on the side of Fraud Squad, just because we haven't really seen Gua pull those champions out of their toolkit yet. So I'm not certain that Gua is really confident on them. And the same thing with, feel like both these final four bans just kind of bleh. Just because the Draven and Jhin, I feel like Tristana would have done really well against. You get some hard engage and they can actually beat them, beat Jhin early, and then if you can starve out the Draven, even though he's got that new execute on his ultimate, that's when he becomes the real threat.
Yeah, and the execute does take a long time to build up, but I do think that Galio returning to support role is something that we don't see quite often anymore. It's not as tanky as it used to be. Riot has done a lot to eliminate the free tank stats that Galio used to get. Now all of it does scale off of his AP ratio, so I think Leona is going to be a lane Leona could easily brute force, and in the matchup between Jinx and Tristana, it really does depend on which AD carry gets this advantage early, because Tristana takes a long time to max Jinx's range, and she needs levels, she needs experience, so she falls behind. It hurts her a lot more than other AD carries.
I completely agree. So let's go ahead and hop on this rift, see what we got going on, and we will have to see if we're going to be seeing early invade or not. I kind of expect it to just be a five-man stack, and we've got some ghosts on the rift, it seems. That was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that was. Was there an update that came out? I don't think so.
Potentially. Maybe it's the leftovers of the Ruination, Viego's Black Mist, just kind of like hiding everything from view. That would be my guess. Not entirely sure. Either way, pretty awesome to see. And just right away, we automatically have just kind of going to that five-man stack. Both teams kind of respecting each other's engage. Probably, yep. So you got IOUM or IOM.
Yep.
Nice damage with that banner.
Yeah, it definitely looks like we're gonna have a slower early game. This with five-man stack. Both these junglers aren't hyper aggressive in the early game. Jarvan can do a level 2 gank, and if that is effective, that's something that can be really good. Nico can get her stun early, so Orianna would be a target, but you are doing so into the barrier. So Honestly, I think this game is going to be very macro heavy, and Team Azores has done less than satisfactory in that regard. They've been struggling on that end, but I do know that they have been working very heavily on their mid game. That's something that they identified as the struggle point. So I'm excited to see how the changes that they made and how they're going to be able to utilize their early aggression to try to find an advantage for, especially on this Aurelia and Kane.
And I kind of feel like Jarvan should potentially be moving into a lot of the jungle of Kane, just trying to shut him down early. We do see him starting at red buff, so he's getting this top-down clear, trying to put pressure on this bot lane and really kind of getting his bot lane ahead, which with how hard of an engage Leona naturally has is going to be really, really important, and it's just going to be so impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. Just so much CC that can come out from this bot side. The traps into the Leona combo can stun up Tristana very hard. Also, the reason why Jinx is often picked into Tristana is Tristana cannot jump over the traps. The traps do interrupt dashes if you try to jump over them, or do any form of movement over them. So I do like this matchup. And frankly, it's really smart on the side of Jay to be headed towards the spot side, because this is where his pressure can be most easily utilized, and he can definitely guarantee a crab at the very least.
At the very least, yeah. Let's see here. Looking at where this Kane is going to Gromp, we could be seeing a level 2 gank, so it might be J4 going buff. It might be trying to look for that counter gank. Baytry most likely going to be jumping in on this. We got Galio going for the hard engage. Like I said, we already got Baytry going in for this. Throw a Murphy running away. Got the bomb on their head. They're taking a lot of damage. The Ignite came off, which allowed Tristan to get that extra auto attack off. We do have the J4 down here to return that, but that's going to be First Blood going over to Gua as he manages to pick that up. And this is going to be IOYM getting taken down, and Raw Dog Ross taking a lot of damage too. And the bomb is going to be what finishes off, though Gua diving under turret a little unnecessarily, has to flash out in order to keep from giving up those early 3-kill shutdown gold.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic start from Team Azores, burning multiple summer spells. Everything's burned from this bot side, and a triple kill picked up early.
And right here, we got Papa Bear engaged on by Shadow 21, almost getting taken down as well.
Ooh, yeah, that Q was up. He could have Q autoed. I'm sure that would have been enough with a 5-stack Aurelia, but he didn't want to get knocked onto the tower. The Brittle could have easily come through and disrupted that, so something to be all more anxious of. But yeah, really, really a good play from the side of Gula, picking up those kills, being there to support that. Baytry is gonna get a lot of credit for that, for being down there on the bot side, expecting Jarvan to look for that early gank. And honestly, he gets so much out of it because he secures crab, and now he can go up and get this other crab too. So this Kane is definitely onto a fantastic early start. And
either way, Jarvan has decided, you know what? I know that I was taken down early, but it's going to be fine. I'm going to go ahead and invade anyway. Getting down a nice control ward, allowing him some extra vision, looking for an engage on this mid lane. Hismi is very low on mana. And with an Orianna, that's kind of one of your hardest things to deal with just how quickly you can run out. It's such a crucial resource for her. That I'm expecting a lot to be happening around this mid lane anyway, just with the Nico Orianna in general. IOYM kind of getting caught out as Onbo tries to get a taunt off, doesn't quite manage to make it connect, but it's not really going to matter. Gua already has the Night Quiver, or Noon Quiver, so that's a lot of damage in their pocket that they're able to use. Right there we see Shadow 21 getting knocked up, the TP plays coming down as we have Gouchmaster joining as well. There's still just a lot of damage coming out. Gua's going to get shut down. That's a lot of gold going over to the Jinx, and at the same time, a triple kill, so it's a return triple for Froa Murphy, but he has the added bonus of shutdown gold going into his pocket.
Yeah, really aggressive 5-man stack, all the teleports coming through onto this bot side. And just when Team Azores has gotten a big advantage, getting 3 kills onto their Tristana, 3 kills automatically go right over to this Jinx, and she's completely caught back up to the game. And the most important part, look at how many minions and experience were lost in this bot side, with at least 2.5 waves dying to the tower, and the Inferno Drake that's not going over. So the momentum has shifted very early. A lot of resources burned, but
do want to call a Wind Drake for Soul, by the way.
Oh, are we doing this again?
We're doing this again. Yeah,
this is our game now.
I'm calling it for a Wind Drake.
All right. Well, I always go the opposite of what Cheryl just says. I don't know. I feel in my soul that I will be right this time. You know, it's a possibility. It could definitely be that ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Let the river swim, but I was wrong twice the last time, so I'm due for some.
Hey, I got 50-50. One wrong last time too, so it's fine. Good use of Papa Bear's Bellows Breath in order to avoid getting stunned by the Aurelia. They are able to walk away because of it. That was really well done.
Yeah, Aurelia takes that basically
nice
don't matter.
engage, jumping over the wall with that banner of command, getting a lot of damage off, but they're not quite able to hit the Nico Pop Blossom, so that's going to be a lot of damage that gets missed out.
Yeah, actually, it was interesting to see. It looks like Britar tried to get some stacks off of the Nico. I'm not sure if Kane picks up stacks on clones or champion made a things of that nature, like Shaco clone and Nico clone, but
I'm pretty certain he does, because you can get a Dark Harvest stack off of a clone.
Yeah, so if he does and he knew to do that, that was extremely smart, because he is accelerating to a quite extent. Kane is very important to get his transform as early as possible, even though those would give him blue stacks, and I'm pretty sure he wants the red Kane. Honestly, either option is pretty strong. Blue Kane is still extremely effective, but he would have less targets to need.
Look at that fish bones hitting you from a distance. It's always hard to deal with that. That's really frustrating.
Yeah, people always forget that Jinx's Fishbones does 110% of her AD, so she basically just get 10% extra damage for no reason. But yeah, but here we go.
There we go. We got the taunt coming out from Onbo, getting a nice jump onto this Raw Dog Ross. Raw Dog not quite able to get away, as the bomb is going to take his life.
Oh my god, the stacks are coming in. That's every time Kane gets a successful gank off, he just gets so much more value out of it than a lot of other junglers. And this Leona is going to continue to struggle because she doesn't have flash for quite a while.
That Ionian fervor is just devastating from Aurelia. It's so much fun to watch. I love seeing the Blade Dancer moving around this map.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm honestly pretty excited. Aurelia is going to be a champion we expect to see at Worlds, and frankly, she is one of the most entertaining top and mid laners to see. So it is, even though she is busted and people hate her, it's nice to see her return in time for a big tournament like FOF and the World Championship.
No, it's just a lot of fun. There we go. Again, using the Bellows Breath, Papa Bear, and getting in the knockup. This is a lot of really good disengage coming out from them, in order to keep themselves safe. I have been really enjoying, that is a great way to fight Aurelia. You just got to make sure that you have some kind of unstoppable ability.
Yeah, but we got to give Shadow his credit where it's due. He is blasting this top side, up 26 CS already. And if you notice, that top wave has been frozen for at least 2 minutes. And Papa Bear is just walking up, getting traded on, and then getting
there we go. IOM getting caught out, getting hit by that shockwave, and is going to take a lot of damage. We have Kane jumping inside, so it's not going to matter that he ran away, and he is going to go down to the Kane. That is going to be a nice bit of red orbs going over for him, pushing him even closer to that Ross transformation. And oh man, I'm a little sus on that back right there on Boangua.
Yeah, that's definitely a weird one. But yeah, again, another good play from this Kane, doing a fantastic job. Already 4 assists in his bag with 1 kill collected up. So this jungle advantage is continuing to perpetuate a lead, as 53 CS to 38 is a big CS lead, and he's gotten the kill and experience advantage. So Jarvan's going to need to do something to not fall super far behind, because it's going to be very difficult to continue to contest these dragons, and Rip Hero being 2 levels down, as Shadow once again maintains his freeze.
Bellows Breath coming out right there. Papa Bear trying to get some damage off. Does do the charge. Is not quite able to make it connect. We do see Aurelia unleash the blades. That's not going to be enough. The call. The Forge God is going to get a knockup. Shadows is very low in terms of mana, so they are able to get engaged on here. However, a lot of Aurelia's damage is in the continual auto attacks. But at the same time, look at this. We got 3 men. We got a 3-man gank coming up here to the top lane.
Yeah, they're going to need to make this work. This is a lot of commitment. Orianna is also on the trail, and Kane is also on the side of the map, so this will be a big commitment if they choose to go for this play.
B-Try finishing off that grump, but at the same time, look at this. They knew that it was going to happen. Oh, man, the use of that blast cone just is a little bit... that's rough.
Yeah, very smart on the side of Team Azure, still matching the play, not allowing this Aurelia to get dived. And frankly, this is an advantage that was built up by Shadow having a fantastic play in the top side. Here we go, Hisme is in trouble.
Yep, Hisme is jumping on top of that. We have the Pop Blossom coming out. Gauchmaster trying to get the damage off. They do manage to do it, but it's not going to matter because they're going to go down to the tower.
Yeah, Hisme with the outplay, beautiful shockwave into the tower, getting the CC, and then walking away, not taking any extra damage. So, as Fro Murphy...
nice snipe with the boom rocket.
Yeah, 4 kills onto this Jinx. Shutdown. I'm sorry, not a shutdown, but a lot of gold into this Jinx pocket for free. So fantastic on that end. But yeah, I think still the big person to watch has been this Aurelia. This Shadow is playing one of the best top lane games we've seen in a while, maintaining a freeze 30 CS up, really making this Ornn not get the advantages that he would be otherwise looking for, maintaining an even CS game. So I don't know. That is where I've been most impressed so far.
And with that, they actually, because of all the pressure that has been happening up in this top lane, Aurelia has frozen the wave under their turret, so they are going to be able to look at going for this Rift Herald. They're choosing not to, while at the same time, V-Try is already on the bot lane and sneaking this Drake, and he is going to take it down, which means that we're going to be seeing an Ocean Soul coming up here for this next the rest of this game. So you got it right this time.
Yeah, Found will not be wrong 3 times in a row. Thank God, because I was really worried. I didn't want to have that happen, but here B-Try's in trouble.
Yep. Ooh, B-Try getting caught out by the Jinx trap bombs. That's going to be a lot of damage right there, but he's going to use the culling go underneath. Does manage to get the Reaping Slash off. Does get a nice knock up. There we go. Over here, we have Frau and Murphy getting exceptionally low. Jinx is going to go down, and that is going to be them falling. IOYM trying to get more damage onto this Onbo. At the same time, the fight continuing in the river. Raw Dog Ross getting caught out by a shockwave, pulled back in, and is going to go down to the Rost, getting a nice bit of damage off there. Look at this. IOYM going in, trying to save his teammate, is not going to be able to. He's going to go down as well as Hismi picks up a kill. Gouchmaster in the meantime is just going to be like, I'm walking away from this.
Yeah, IOYM sacrificing himself to allow Gouchmaster to get out. Once again, a really well done team fight. The Tristana really saved the play there, jumping in, getting a bunch of damage off onto Jinx, preventing the counterattack on to B-Try, who was playing very over aggressive in his enemy jungle. So fantastic play, and a lot of that saved by it was 11 minutes in the game, and that B-Try had already gotten his transform. And that is when Kayn is at his most powerful. So just a bunch of repercussions from how the early game panned out.
This is a 14 kill game so far. That means we've seen more than a kill a minute. I do think that earlier fight was in the advantage of Fraud Squad there early on. However, they kind of overstayed, which allowed TAS to pick up a couple of extra kills, which is going to put some extra gold back in their pocket, extending this lead. They now have a 4K gold lead. Hismi doing a good job, able to maintain distance. I think that was supposed to be a speed boost on them. I don't know if that was supposed to be damage, but not quite able to get it. Meantime, right here, we have IOAM coming in for a gank, but V-Try is already here to help continue this and dissuade that. We have 2 TPs, though, coming out as the top lane comes out. Huge Cataclysm catching multiple members of TAS right there, and the Pop Blossom is going to come out, trapping the Aurelia as well. That is a lot of damage coming out as Shadow 21 is getting exceptionally low. Call of the Forge God coming out as they try to finish off this Tristana, are not quite able to hit it. Then they're going to shove this wave under tower, and Gua is just going to have to be the lone survivor walking away.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a party like a bot lane party. This is the second time where there's been a 5-man stack where both teleports are coming in, everything's being matched, and just the Orianna not having that ability to match also is going to give over this first tower a bunch of gold to this Jinx also. And frankly, this is a really I want to say that this was a really well thought out series of events for the side of both Team Azos being there for the counter gank and the side of Team Fraud for being there for the having the teleports available and not using them back lane to be able to properly get them in the bot side.
Very, very well played, very well planned out. However, in the end, TAS has still maintained that gold lead. That's another 2K gold going over to the side of Fraud Squad, getting them ever closer to evening this game out. As we look at this map right here, the Rift Herald still hasn't been taken down, so that is a objective that is currently on the map that is theirs for the taking if Fraud Squad wants it. I feel like they've got the better position right now, especially with the rest of TAS down in this bot lane. I feel like Kayn has done a good job of counter ganking this Jarvan, as a lot of pressure has been down here in the bot lane, and we just need to see some more active presence up in the top lane, though, because there's some objectives up there that just haven't been taken yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Rift Herald wasn't taken for the first one, so no one's going to be getting that plate influx of gold. Frankly, the only big influx was from the bot tower being taken, but you do see Team Azos does still have the gold lead, about 800 at the moment. Actually, I'm sorry, a little closer to 1,000, but either or, frankly, they have been managing to procure these advantages, but no one's really been pressuring topside, as you said, and this island has been going in the favor of Shadow distantly, and Popbear is going to need some more resources if he's going to continue to be effective. It
was until the rotation, so now that we've got Ornn down here in the bot lane, which is taking Gua, is just having plenty of fun free farming right now. Good dash out in order to avoid the Galio taunt. We do have Jinx and Leona have pushed up here, so this is going to allow them to have a lot more Frog Squad to have a lot more presence up here in this top side. Gua taking a lot of damage from Papa Bear. That brittle is no joke. Nice solar flare from Leona as Raw Dog Ross does manage to trap them there. Galio's going to be coming into a dead teammate, unfortunately, getting themselves caught in the middle of a 3-man gank. B-Try is also here trying to help them out, Reaping Slash as well, but a Cataclysm is just going to trap them, and that is going to be Jarvan trapping himself under tower. Kane getting a lot of damage. Good knockup as a couple of tower shots hit Raw Dog Ross. They did manage to take the Jarvan down, but that is going to probably be the top lane falling here, and as TAS is going to finish off this bot side. So he is going for a tower dive instead of finishing off the tower. That means that he's going to get the kill, but he's going to go down as well.
Yeah, the Gale Force didn't come in time. That could have easily just been a Gale Force R without having used to jump in and just executing the Ornn. But yeah, now the tower's not going to go down. Tristana, Gua did suffer that death in an advantageous position. And frankly, Fraud has been consistently utilizing their global resources as effective as possible, continuously beating 8th Thors to the play, especially in these side lanes. So, credit where it's due. That is how they managed to maintain these kills and not fall too far behind, when a lot of the early gold did go over to the side of Team Azor's bot lane.
Yes, the global presence has been making the biggest impact on this, and we are seeing right now as Drake is getting pressured. This Ocean Soul is super important for both teams. For Fraud Squad, it's just going to make their tanks that much beefier and so much harder to take down. While for Team Azeroth, it's going to allow them to do these skirmishy engages, hit really hard, get out with just a sliver of health, but keep going because they're able to heal it back up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even more important because if you notice, neither AD carry chose to go for the more sustained damage option. These are two Gale Force AD carries to this game. Generally, both of them can go the Kraken Slayer. It is a big damage advantage.
Ooh, big root. That was kind of a nasty thing he was walking into. Hisme's going to be going down right here. Leona's going to try and get a Zenith Blade off. Not quite able to do it. Kane jumping inside Froa Murphy. And that is going to be Aurelia. Flash ult in and right there. But there's going to be a huge solar flare stunning 2 members of Team Azeroth as the rest of Fraud Squad gets taken down by so much damage. This Aurelia is insane.
Yeah, really aggressive R forward onto Shadow, getting that trade down, beating Ornn to the play, making that play salvageable, even though their mid laner died instantly. So, good cleanup. They tried being so they tried being so ahead. It was something that also helped out a lot. But yeah, very well done. As was turning around a play that started off looking extremely bad for them.
Yeah, and Shadows did the smart play, going for the Bork first, getting that extra attack speed, allowing them to hit so much harder, so much faster. They're probably working on their Mythic now, but at the same time, if you look at this, their only Mythics on Team Azeroth are going to be on the Kane, Orianna, and Tristana, while you've got 4 Mythics already built on the side of Fraud Squad.
Yeah, and I just want to take some note of these item builds. Both these AD carries got a lot of early gold, a lot of are accelerated quite far. Yeah, Jinx chose to go for the rapid fire cannon, and she now invested into a stopwatch also. So, honestly, the goal that they're giving over is something that is going to maybe come back to haunt him later. But frankly, if he's looking for just that 2-3 auto reset, this is one of the most effective builds. And there is a lot of damage on this Nico, and Ornn can also put out a lot. Plus the Jarvan trapping everyone in. So I think this is a strategic option, not something that was picked randomly.
I kind of agree with you in the sense of I actually really like this Jinx build. It's going to allow them to have a lot more distance, like even more so than usual. And that stopwatch is going to allow them to have at least a moment during one of these team fights. Nice knock up for B tries. He jumps in onto IOYM. There are 3 members of the rest of Fraud Squad moving up there. We do have a nice disengage though from TAS as they are deciding to back off. They know that they're in a little bit of trouble. The clone coming out is going to pull out the ball from Orianna in order to get some damage, but nothing real substantial. Red buff going over to Jinx is going to allow them to push just a little bit harder. And what I was saying about that stopwatch, it'll allow them to survive a fight that gets really kind of like not necessarily wanted to be, and keep from giving that shutdown over. Huge Cataclysm. That is another one. IOYM just hitting all of these. That is going to be nearly a triple hit Plot Blossom, but it's going to be a flash from Gua in order to avoid getting hit. Call of the Forge God coming out trying to hit that Gua. Does manage to get the brittles. Doesn't pop off yet. But that is just a huge fight that swings in Fraud Squad's favor. And with this Rift Herald, it's going to be taking down this mid tower, so it will provide no protection. They could easily continue this down and get a second charge off as they hit this second tier 2 turret.
Yeah, absolutely. Fraud Squad continuously finding these picks. It's me getting caught out for the second time in a row. This is one of the events. As
Ooh,
now there's
there was a
shutdown
fight
going
over
on.
here and a shutdown. We have a nice engage under this tower, and that's a lot of damage coming out. IOYM is going to go down to this Kane as he's getting a lot of damage off. No, he manages to survive. Nice roots and stuns coming out from Gouchmaster and Leona as they manage to stop him from continuing that engagement. That's going to be a third charge coming off from Shelly as she manages to do a lot of damage to Taz's mid lane.
Yeah, absolutely. Frost Squad just got so much gold. A series of advantages just conceded over to them. That with Tristana kind of haphazardly staying under a tower that she couldn't defend. Really smart on Team Fraud, going aggressively, picking up a shutdown, and Jinx is the beneficiary of that. So she's just getting more and more gold. I no doubt when she bases, she'll have a BF sword. And once that IE comes through, this is a massive advantage as AD carries roles. It's going to make it very difficult to attempt to fraud to back if your team has her.
It will be. It'll be very, very hard. And unfortunately, Taz does have the squishier comp, and they want to do those dives. But if the Jinx is able to hang out on that backline, get that Zada off, they are going to survive very well. The Frostfire Gauntlet is going to come into huge effect for the Orin as they are able to engage on this as well, keeping them from being able to move very far, very quickly to just continue that disruption of the engage.
Yeah, absolutely. And even though this Orin is almost 100 CS behind, he still will achieve his goal of being that tanky frontliner. And he's level 12. So once he's level 13, he can give a evolved item over to either this Nico or the Jinx. And that is a lot of damage. Also, that's going to come in. So 1,000 gold that's going to just be picked up by one of these carries as soon as that does happen. So that will most likely also be in time for this next Drake. So a lot of advantages coming over to Team Fraud as they prepare to fight for this third Drake for the side of Team Azure.
And this is a fight they're going to be very well prepared for. Personally, I just straight up give it to the Jinx. Give her that upgraded Ornn item. It'll be so much more important for them. They've still got that stopwatch as well, so it is ready to be used should they need it. They haven't had to yet. Taz, unfortunately, they had the really strong early lead, but Fraud Squad has kind of pulled the rug out from under them. And so at this point, they've got to start looking for these picks, got to start looking at these side lanes and keep the rest of the Fraud Squad from being able to actually pressure them back.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I'm inside of Team Azores, I don't even take this fight. The inventory has come through. Jinx has a completed IE, an item of a full item advantage. She's extremely strong right now. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal for the Nico also. So this is just one you probably don't want to take, but it looks like Azores is going to be.
I would totally take this fight because you know that they're expecting you not to, so that's the perfect opportunity. They are able to walk around behind Vision. Fraud Squad have not set up a Vision line behind the Drake, so they don't know what's happening right now. They do know that B-Try has just jumped inside of the Dragon Pit, but at the same time, they're Rost. They can jump in the wall, and it doesn't matter, and they can move around. We are going to have Fraud Squad backing off right now. I'm not entirely sure why. There's a nice engage starting. Unfortunately, I have a further screen right in front of me. I do see that we have Aurelia getting a lot of damage off, but at the same time, the Cataclysm is going to catch out the couple members of TAS or Team Azor, and that is going to be a clean pickup by Fraud Squad as they manage to just completely shred this. A nice super mega death rocket, threading that needle, finding Gua, taking him down. That is going to be an Ocean Drake going over to Fraud Squad.
Yeah, Ocean Drake at the minimum, but Baron at the maximum. And that's where they're heading. Yeah, I don't know. That fight did not look even close. I don't know. I don't think that was the avenue that Azure should have been looking for. This Jinx is just way too strong, already going legendary. And if she doesn't die instantly, these team fights are incredibly difficult to win.
It is a very tough thing, and we already see they are moving in on this Baron. They can take this mostly uncontested because they are so healthy. This is the power of those Ocean Drakes, allowing them to heal up just a little bit. Onbo trying to get some engage, isn't quite able to reach out there, and like you said, because all of his tankiness is tied into his AP, he's only managed to finish his Mythic off, and he doesn't have a lot of resources yet. In the meantime, on the other side, we already see that Leona has built the Iron Soul Locket. They have used it to great effectiveness, and they've just managed to avoid so much damage from Team TAS.
Yeah, and here's going to be a 1v1.
Up 1v1 in the top lane. B-Try going in onto Gouchmaster. Gouchmaster is not able to avoid a lot of this damage, and that is going to be an easy Reaper taking him down.
Yeah, B-Dry picking it up, really smart on his side, getting that shutdown. It wasn't even close. Nico didn't even bother using Arc because there was no way that she was making it out of that. And That's a lot of well-needed gold. You see, this Kane is snowballing. He does have his Muramana picked up, is now Bear.
He does. That is a nice knockout coming up from the Blade's reaches. He does manage to connect it, but that's the call of the Forge God getting stuck, and it's not able to pop off. The Umbral Trespass is going to pick up yet another kill as B-Try takes down the Orn.
Yeah, the
look at this. Oh, good flash by Gua to avoid the Cataclysm.
That instant flash on the side of Gua didn't really even get checked. I'm not sure if the damage even went through, but yeah, really smart on that. Taking any extra second, 2 autos from Jinx and you're dead, plus the Gale Force is also going to be available. So it's really well done on that. But honestly, as they're picking up those 2 picks are really big. They have been falling considerably behind. The gold is now closer to even. They are still disadvantaged in some of their roles, but frankly, this is where they, given the situation of the CS and on certain champions, this is where they want to be, and this is going to be a battle between can Shadow carry harder with all the gold that he has, or is it going to be Frostmorphy in the Fromorphy in the bottom lane with all the gold on this Jinx?
Yeah, and Jinx has sold their stopwatch, but it doesn't really matter because they have 4 completed items and their boots. So they are essentially at full build at this point. They've got the Infinity Edge. They've got the Guardian Angel. So they've already used up that stopwatch. And like this is where it's going to be near impossible to take them down. And that's disregarding whether or not they even pick up the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, the Ocean Soul coming is still quite a ways off. This is only going to be the 3rd dragon spawning. Frankly, it's one that you can give up. If I'm Team Azure, I'm looking to try to prep for this Baron. If you don't want to take this team fight, if you don't have the gold, and the disadvantage on the 80 carries positions right now is just too massive to try to take a 5v5 fight. I think the best option for them would be to sneak the Baron, but they are clearing out vision and they will have control, at least for the moment, if Team Fraud is going to try to walk into his enemy jungle.
Yeah, it's really, really tricky to get to Fromorphy at this point. The front line that Fraud Squad has built in this Jarvan and Leona and Ornn, it's really, really terrifying and it's really solid. The only way you can kind of like get through it is to get into it. And so you have to like jump in as a Tristana, which puts you in a very bad spot. You have to dive in through the Shadow Step with a Kane, which is a very bad spot. You have to try, and so really the only option they have is to use the Shockwave to kind of pull those tanks away, pull them out of the way in order to really jump in on that backline, jump in on that Jinx. But with the Guardian Angel up right now, that is going to be super tricky to do because you take them down, the second health bar is going to pop up and the boss music is just going to start again.
Yeah, absolutely. And then with the there was a little bit of hidden value from that pick on the Nico earlier. She has the Magi Soul Stealer in her inventory, but 0 stacks on it. So losing those stacks were massive. And that Nico was putting out a lot of damage in these previous fights, so it could be more fightable than it was previously, especially now that Kane is so accelerated. Look at his item build. This is a 3-item jungler that can put out massive amounts of damage if he's allowed to find a backliner.
Definitely, and unfortunately, I'm seeing like this Drake is coming up here in the next 30 seconds. You have the banner dropping by Jarvan, just kind of hanging out there. He's able to get some vision, able to see Kane wandering around, and so they know that TAS is looking for this fight, and TAS just being Team Asorth wants to look for the fight. They want to go for it, and so Fraud Squad are kind of like, fine, you want to play your game? We'll let you play your game, but we're going to play ours. However, looks like they're taking the smart play, taking a page out of your book, Found, and they're going over to this Baron. They're letting the Drake fall, letting them get onto Soul Point while they're going to try and rush this thing out.
Yeah, absolutely. Extremely intelligent. No wards on this, so the sneak that I wanted is the sneak I shall get, as only the ward is going to be available, and he is going to be spotting it out right now, but the ward
does bring out the call of the Forge Gods to make a death run. Comes out with the blue team smite, is going to allow them to pick up the Baron Nashor. That was really well done. It got a little dicey there for a second, though.
Yeah, beautiful trade. A lot of gold giving up on that Baron. They've now retaken the gold lead on the side of Team Azure. A lot of the gold is going to be sitting onto this Aurelia's and this Kane's pockets, but that does a lot to catch up this 80 carry matchup, even with the massive CS lead. That's also a disadvantage. So if the team fight looks strong and if they can find an angle to pick up Fromorphy when he is caught out in a position where Shadow can get onto him and get a lot of damage out, this could easily be a team fight that Team Azure is going to be able to come back for, and they're going to need to get a lot of advantage from this dragon, because when you do trade a dragon for a Baron trade, it is very important to pressure, because those dragon is a perpetual. Dragon gives you advantages in perpetuity, while Baron is only a small period of time where you'll maintain that benefit.
Definitely going to be something like that. They got to make sure that they have that benefit available to them. TAS is doing a decent job pressuring this mid lane. They're trying to like shove things out so they can just have this global wave presence. They've got to do something with this Baron buff. At the same time, they kind of, in a way, they have to do the pushing while avoiding the fights, because I still think that they've fallen far enough behind in terms of builds that it's going to be really risky trying to get through this front line.
Yeah, absolutely. But the clock is ticking, and every moment that they wait this isn't going to get any easier. They don't necessarily outscale super hard. The tank stats are coming through. You see, Jinx has also gotten her upgraded item. 2 crits from her on any of these champions could easily kill even the tankiest members. There's a lot to be concerned about. But there is a lot of avenues. It looks like they are starting to push now. The 1-4 is what they're going to be looking for, as they're going to be heading top with Orianna most likely heading to this mid lane. So let's see if they're going to be able to use this Baron to break open any tier 2s. I do expect this.
They are looking for a trap. They're trying to bait some members of Fraud Squad into this topside jungle. Unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be walking into Papa Bear. Papa Bear is not the one you want to be taking onto this fight. Good use of the Blast Cone. Nice Tristana bomb in order to get a lot of damage off. Call of the Forge God's going to come out, but it's not going to go off, as Ornn is going to go down before it has a chance to. Umbral Trespass flashing under the tower to bring Breach High into an area where he's going to take a lot more damage. That's going to be 500 gold going over to the side of Jarvan. That is a Super Mega Death Rocket catching 3 members, but a flash allowing Hisme to jump out as well. Good golden stopwatch by Aurelia, trying to avoid a lot of damage. Golden Nico in order to avoid the drop down from Galio, but that is going to be a winning fight on the side of TAS, and they are still in this. Oh, looks like Jinx is actually going to dive in. Nice dash forward and Fishbone's rocket in order to get the kill.
Yeah, fat crit on the Jinx for that last auto. For Ngua, was not expecting that. Heal still available. But honestly, even with the final kill going over to Tristana, I think that is overall in Team Azos' favor with them winning the team fight. Now, unfortunately, that does mean that the end of their Baron power push, they're not going to be able to break open any of these towers. But getting some picks into the jungle, catching up in the gold in certain areas on certain champions can make this game a lot more winnable. And the IE is coming through on Tristana soon, so this 80 carry disadvantage is going to be avoided quite soon as that does come in.
You say that was a fight that when Team Azor is in favor. I think that you might be very wrong on that, because look who still has their Guardian Angel. Look who is still going to be surviving twice in the next fight. That is Jinx. This Jinx is terrifying. Froa Murphy has done such a great job of peppering the damage, staying out of range of all of the other champions in order to avoid getting taken down. And because TAS failed to get at least the Guardian Angel taken off, that next fight is going to be just as tough.
Yeah, absolutely. This Jinx is just massive at the moment, and they got as much as they could. Weren't able to pick up that final kill onto Fro Murphy, who honestly has been playing an immaculate game. Hasn't gotten picked off with any of the CC and damage that are coming out from the side of Team Azores, and you're still really waiting on to see which 80 carry is going to be able to get out that maximum amount of damage, and Fro Murphy has been doing so. Honestly, with 100 CS lead almost, and a Flame Horizon that he did have at one point, you do got to give him credit and think that he could be able to.
Ooh, good shockwave, pulling the Nico in, but that's going to be the Pop Blossom coming out in the shield, keeping them alive. Gouge is going to be getting away, but we have the Umbral Trespass bringing him closer to his target as the Reaping Slash picks up the kill, and this is going to be Fraud Squad getting ripped to shreds. There goes the Guardian Angel this time. There is no helping you now, Jinx. That is going to be the call of the Forge. Got to get a nice, decent knockup, though, and that is going to be a huge amount of CC, keeping Froa Murphy from being able to do anything after they come back alive. But Murphy getting shredded to pieces in the end.
Jesus, B-Try is a monster. He finally played that fight. Mackie getting so much damage off 3-man knockup onto both carries. Can you ask for any more from a jungler who's refusing to lose? Very well done, and honestly, he saved that fight, because a corridor fight into a Jinx with rockets up can be very scary. And now that GA is down, so you were just mentioning it, and they did take it.
They are going to be taking this Drake. That is going to put TAS on soul point, so that means this is going to be a huge amount of dragon stake in this game. But it's really interesting if you look at the way these two teams are. They've got 2 Ocean Drakes and resistances from the Mountain Drake on the side of TAS, and you have 2 Ocean Drakes and damage from the Infernal Drake on the side of Fraud Squad, which is what Jinx wants and which is what Tristana wants. And the way that this has turned out is ridiculous. It has gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's just been absolutely nuts.
Yeah, and Team Azores has managed to catch up in the lanes they were struggling with and maintain the advantage in the lanes they had an advantage in. they were struggling in a lot of, especially this AD carry role. But honestly, Tristana is at the point where she's at least equal to close to power with the Jinx, and you ask for more in the area. Look how much damage B-Try is doing.
So much damage, jumping right onto IOYM. That is a lot of damage from B-Try, flashing out of the Cataclysm in order to hit the target that he wants to hit. Umbral Trespass coming out as he just reaps their soul. That is gonna be B-Try picking up another kill on the Jinx, and Froa Murphy unfortunately going down. And this is going to be another Baron going over to Team Azor.
This man is a monster. That's the second time in a row he's picked off the Jinx. One shot her on the back line. Now that we're going to get that Baron. And this is the Baron where they're in a complete different position than they were last time. They're now strong enough to fight and win these fights. And Kayn is just being a menace. They just don't seem to have enough damage to kill him. Not enough autos are coming through. And it looks like the scaling advantage is finally here now that Orianna also has so much shielding and utility that she can provide.
So much shielding utility, and this is going to be a huge push for Team Azeroth as they are able to pick up this mid lane turret. They're going to be picking up the mid lane inhibitor. They're going to back off, which is, again, the smart play. We are seeing a TAS that has learned from their mistakes throughout the rest of this season, and they are not playing quite as overly aggressive as they usually do, and it is working out so well in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. A level 17 Kayn, and they've been extremely smart at this point, not ceding over any more further advantages, not taking fights now that they have been winning them. They've caught back up to be able to take these team fights, and they're not now throwing that advantage. And it looks like they're going to be able to push both these side lanes. Also, this could just give a bunch of gold over to Team Azure if a fight doesn't break out. We're already close to a 10,000 gold lead with so many victories, and frankly, Froa Murphy gave over tons of gold, giving over 2 shutdowns back to back. So,
yeah, it's just a matter of whether or not Taz's timidity is going to work against them in the long run, because they are running out that Baron timer. So that is going to allow their power play to fall behind, and they are going to start losing some of these advantages as well. They've got to start making a push soon, because they did have a potential to end there, and it's just going to be a matter of, are they able to keep this fight going? Right now, it looks like they're just going to be shoving in this mid lane as hard as they can. Aurelia, Shadows trying to get some damage off, trying to get into the back line. Not quite able to find a target, though, as we just basically start A-ramming it.
Yeah, this is unfortunately something that we've seen quite often. This is the NA special. They probably should have just been using the Baron to get these pushes, just to push these side lanes. They really just need to decide on which side lane they're going to be headed to, because that is where the gold lies. These tier 2 gold towers give a lot of gold. And it would be a big mistake on the side of Team Fraud to get caught out in this mid lane for no reason. And it looks like they're going to waste the rest of their Baron, as you see Goa is now backing, trying to pick up his last item. And they're probably not going to get much more off this advantage.
Unfortunately not, which means that now it's going to come down to another Drake fight here in the next minute. As the soul is on the line, it's going to be a question of who actually ends up picking this up. Because if they play this fight right, it should be good. But as you can see, the Guardian Angel is about to come back, and we have a Guardian Angel on Jarvan as well. So that is 2 raid bosses they're going to have to deal with. The amount of CC that Jarvan provides his team in addition to his damage versus the raw damage from Froa Murphy is just going to make it really, really difficult for TAS to actually fight this 2-phase boss battle.
Yeah, it's going to really come out to see how these carries can get as much damage as possible. And honestly, I think the big person for this fight is going to be on to Gouchmaster. He's going to need to get a big ultimate, because it looks like at the moment Hisme, after getting caught out in the early game in the last couple fights, he's been positioning quite well. So if this Orianna is in a safer place than this Nico does not do a lot of damage into the late game. She needs to find angles, and frankly, he hasn't been able to find them.
Mm-hmm. Piss me. Look at that damage coming out from the Orianna. That is a nice engage by Kayn, jumping in on the backline, allowing the Galio's grand entrance to come out. That was huge. The Nico's going to drop on 2 members of TAS that are already down, so it's not going to matter. Gua coming back, though, getting caught in the Cataclysm, and they're going to get popped. Their Guardian Angel goes out, but they're going to jump out. Oh my goodness, what an escape, Gua. Good job. But at the same time, they're going to jump onto this Papa Bear, but Papa Bear is just too strong as he takes him down as well. In the meantime, we have the rest. Aurelia jumping onto Gouchmaster, going golden in order to keep stay alive, trying to find an angle out, but they aren't able to do it, and that is going to be an ace for Team Azor as they take down the Fraud Squad, picking up this soul for safe measure, while Kayn and Galio are just pushing for the end.
Yeah, that's going to be the game. All she wrote on this one, but This game has just been the league of one shots. The teleport came in from Gauch Master and he just obliterated Gua into the GA. Really smart pickup from both these AD carries top. And now this is going to be a little bit of a
Look
fight.
at that, engaging under tower, taking a lot of damage, but that's still going to be an ace as they take him down. Anvo, Beatry taking the damage from the tower shots, but he's just not going to really care. Unfortunately, that's probably going to be his undoing, but he heals up. Look at that healing on Beatry from the Ocean Soul, and that is going to be the Nexus falling as it is a 35-25 game. Comes to a close. Team Azor picking up a win as they show the Fraud Squads who's boss.
Yeah, absolutely. I usually don't give over who I think is MVP. I like to leave it to the chat to vote, but please, guys, this was B-Try's game. This man was popping off. Look at the damage, 34k onto a Kane. He was the big carry as he brought back his team, who was behind at certain points and ahead at others. But just finding the Jinx on the backline in multiple fights, you can't ask for anything more from a Kane who just put out massive amounts of damage.
That was insane. We are seeing the Team Azor that we know and love, the team that I have been hyping up this whole season. That is the kind of game we love to see out of them. They put their so much pressure on this map, so much aggression, and yet it was controlled this time. It was just, it was so good. Not much I can really more I can say.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost for words at the moment too. This was a massive improvement for what we've seen from Team Azor. This shows some growth. It shows that their players still have the mechanics. They still have the fingers to do well when they're put in good positions. And that's something that we're really proud of, that FOS brings out of people. Every team that comes into this league improves at some avenue of their gameplay, either individually or as a team. So Team Azos is really exemplifying that, and they should feel really proud of them taking home this win.
They should, and I know that Fraud Squad's going to be going back and looking at this match because they got Froa so far ahead. He had so much going for him. It's unfortunate that it ended up falling. The chips fell where they did. So this is going to be something they really got to see where they fell through, and I think it's going to be really important for them because that Jinx was full built by the very end of it. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with the interview, so stick around.